What popular rumor in your school turned out to be true? Two of the science teachers do shrooms together. Found out cause one of their sons was a student. They are just collaborating with their curriculums. In middle school, there was a rumor my 7th-8th grade social studies teacher owned a pet donkey. Turned out to be true. The donkey's name was Pedro the donkey. Rumor was our new substitute English teacher was suspended years back for choking out a student. By the end of the week with him he threw a table at a student and threatened to kill him. We were debriefed by our usual teacher when he came back. Was confirmed. We were not surprised. It wasn't really a rumor, more of an open secret. One of our English teachers was in the IRA. One of our history teachers once showed us a documentary about the early years of the Troubles, mainly the civil rights movement. And sure enough, in the film, you can see our English teacher standing holding a rifle without even a mask on him. At that point it wasn't really a secret anymore. IRA membership was supposed to be secret, but if you were in it everyone knew about. The fact his membership was confirmed with that video always made me laugh. There was a rumor going around in my high school that an English teacher and a biology teacher were sleeping with each other. I thought it didn't make any sense at all. Other than being strict teachers who graded harshly, it's not like they had anything in common, and I'd never even seen them talking to each other or interacting in any way. They were both married, and besides, she was youngish and attractive and he was not. I had always figured that someone who managed to flunk both classes at the same time just decided to start a rumor. My brother is 6 years younger than me, and during his time at the school they both were fired suddenly in the middle of the school year. Turns out it was true all along. They had been caught fraternizing on school grounds. I was pretty surprised. Of all the weird rumors that go around in a typical school, that was the one that had to be true. A very popular, older man that taught honors history at my high school. He looked like Doc Brown from Back to the Future, and was just as eccentric. Such an excellent teacher, kept everyone intrigued. There was always this rumor though, not to piss him off, as he was like Bruce Banner and could go Hulk in a second. Some said he was special forces in Nam. Some said he had a black belt in jujitsu. All kinds of crazy shit I never believed. Well, one day in between periods, a massive fight broke out in the hallway. 4 of the toughest guys just kicking the shit out of each other. We all stopped to watch, of course. Then, out of nowhere, Mr. H just appears and starts cleaning house in about 5 seconds. 2 kids on the ground and 2 pinned up against lockers. He kept the 2 against the lockets until more adults got there. Holy hell. Do not mess with Mr. H. A girl in my econ class lost her dad, but a rumor started going around that he didn't die. He was arrested as a serial killer. Turned out to be true and was featured a few years ago on Evil Lives Here show. This was a rumor that went around my elementary school. Basically my school had a lockdown, but they didn't tell us what it was for. One kid came in the next day and told us that his sister said it was a cow in the field in between the high school and middle school. So my 2nd grade class went and told everyone else in the school. The next day we had an assembly that confirmed this rumor. My middle school math teacher, married man, was having an affair with one of the special education teachers. Went on 4 years. After I graduated high school, he killed himself when the other woman gave him an ultimatum. Confirmed by a family member that worked as a substitute teacher. Coincidentally, said family member also had an affair with another employee there that resulted in that employee shooting herself in front of my mother. In middle school, we had a cool social studies teacher. He loved the popular boys, especially the athletes, and not only ignored bullying in his classes of unpopular kids, he often took part in it. He also offered up his services for tutoring to these boys. Everyone always thought he was a child molester, except the popular boys who would threaten you if they heard you talk bad about him. When we came back to school at the beginning of 8th grade, he was gone, as was one of the more popular boys in school. He transferred to an insanely expensive private school. Turns out, sure enough, he was assaulted by the teacher several times during tutoring sessions at the teacher's house. The school district agreed to pay to send the kid to private school as part of a settlement. Our freshman science teacher was a massive jerk to any girl, and would frequently throw the dress code book at girls for the slightest issue. Everyone said it was because he was pissed his daughter became a stripper. That ended up being true. We had heard an underclassman, she was 15ish, was sleeping with a local army guy, but nobody really believed it until the day our school got locked down BC. Her boyfriend showed up with a knife. The boyfriend, in his 30s, was intending to force her go get an abortion. But our principal was a badass who locked her in his office, then took the boyfriend down and held him in a headlock until the cops arrived. The band teacher was having a long-term affair with one of the students. We were in 8th grade. Her parents apparently knew about it all along and were fine with it, but one of the other band parents noticed inappropriate behavior when she was helping chaperone a Disney trip they were all on. It was big news lol. There were rumors that there was a network of underground tunnels that connected every building on my college campus. Didn't believe it till I walked through them myself. We had 3 at my high school, in no particular order. The drama theater teacher worked at a strip club at night. She did, but as a waitress bar back. That 2 particular kids would often bang in the orchestra pit of the auditorium. My sophomore year, the 2 kids were caught banging in there and got subsequently expelled. That a specific history teacher was a Vietnam vet and had severe PTSD just waiting to be set off. One day we watched the D-Day scene, Beaches of Normandy, from Saving Private Ryan while studying WWII. That day, class was 20 minutes of movie, and 35 minutes of him sobbing under his desk while everyone sat there awkwardly in silence. All his other classes for the rest of the day were cancelled and he took some vacation time for a month or so after that. I had a science teacher that was rumored to get a boner whenever he started shouting. We thought it was a myth until we noticed it for real. He would always try put one leg up on the chair to hide it. When I was a sophomore in high school, the basketball coach became the new principal of the school. He had a girl who was on the girls' basketball team worked in his office. Back then students were allowed to work as an office assistant if their grades were good and if they're seniors. She was there almost all the time even when she wasn't supposed to be. The rumor was that they were sleeping with each other because people would see them doing things after school, like running together and go out to eat somewhere. These rumors were later blew off as nothing because even though he was the principal, he still devoted his time to an after-school jogging running class to help students and teachers stay active and keep in shape, and buying dinner at McDonald's for a student isn't the same as taking them somewhere more extravagant like steakhouse. After I came back as a junior from summer break, everyone in our class and in the entire school found out that they both got married and were expecting their first child together. He was married with children from a previous marriage that ended after the girl graduated from high school. Paige was pregnant, none of us believed her. We were 13 and we were just about to start sex ed classes in a few weeks to learn about sex, so we all thought she was making it up. Then she started to gain weight, but she had always been kind of overweight and so no one really believed her then either. Then she brought sonogram pictures in because she was sick of people not believing her. Most people believed her after that. Then she got taken out of school, and this was back when FB was super popular and everyone was talking about her baby. A few months later she had posted all these pictures. I looked her back up when I was 15. She had a second kid. That this hot chick at my school was banging 2 army recruiters. Found out it was true when they were on the news being arrested. One of them ran to I think Michigan with his wife and kids. That I'm a lesbian. IDK how this 7th and 8th grade more her affairs at 2 different schools knew before I did. One of the teachers was banging a student. They got caught the year he left, but it was rumored 3 years before that. Kinda a funny one. There was an ongoing rumor joke that there was a pool on the roof of the gym. The rumor started because the swim team would do their stretches up there before heading to the actual pool across town. Don't know why they did it up there. The year that I graduated was also the last year of that gym because it was going to be demolished. During the last few weeks of school, the swim team actually snuck a small kiddie pool up there and left it there till the school officially closed for summer break. I knew about it because I've got friends on the swim team. There was always a rumor that the head janitor was a huge pothead and would smoke with students in one of the storage sheds away from the main building. I always figured it was bullshit until my friend CJ sent me a pic of him and the janitor smoking weed while surrounded by folding chairs. That one of the students was actually a cop. Turns out he was a cop and busted one of the actual students for selling handguns in school. If you thought 21 Jump Street was unrealistic, think again. Cop was a 33-year-old male and undercover for like half the semester. in high school that the biology teacher was growing weed in the environmental lab. Supposedly he did it for 30 years without anyone noticing. No one could ever prove it though. Later on, I was assigned to be the agent taking care of some of his financial matters. So I went to his house to have him sign some paperwork. He had a hydroponics setup there. So I asked him about the environmental lab. It was like Han Solo in The Force Awakens. It's true, all of it. Then he offered me a brownie. In my Catholic, Jesuit, high school, one of the priests and one of the nuns were very close friends. We all loved them, and we could see that they were quite fond of one another, and they made a really nice looking couple. We used to affectionately kid them about meeting in the tunnel between the convent and the rectory. A few years after my class graduated, they both left their orders, got married, and had kids. We're all happy for them.